يا حسين 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 يا حسين
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Al-Qasim ibn Hasan alayhi salam. Assalamu ala al-Hussain wa ala Ali ibn al-Hussain wa ala awlad al-Hussain wa ala ashab al-Hussain. Al-Qasim was the eldest son of our second Imam, Imam Hussain alayhi salam. His mother was a pure and noble lady by the name of Ramla, also known as Farwa. Hazrat Qasim's parents included the likes of Imam Ali alayhi salam and Lady Fatima salamu alayha. And through Lady Fatima, Qasim was the great-grandson of our Holy Prophet, peace be upon him and his family. However, tragedy struck for Qasim when he was only 3 years old, when his father, Imam Hussain alayhi salam, was fatally poisoned and he was martyred. Following this, Qasim grew up with his paternal uncle, Imam Hussain alayhi salam, and he was blessed by seeing Imam Hussein's characters and his morals and his virtues. Like his cousins Own and Muhammad, Qasim was taught fencing by his uncle Abu Fadl al-Abbas alayhi salam and his other cousin Ali Akbar. Hazrat Qasim grew a strong relationship with his uncle Imam Hussain, so much so that when Imam Hussain planned to leave Medina in the year 680 after Hijrah, Lady Ramla asked Imam Hussain to take her and Qasim with him. On the night of Ashura, Imam Hussain was reciting the names of those who would be a shaheed. Qasim kept asking Imam Hussain, however, if his name was also in this list, to which Imam Hussain replied, "O Qasim, tell me, how is death to you?" And Hazrat Qasim alayhi salam responded with those famous words which transcended time and history. He said, "O my uncle, in your path, death to me is sweeter than honey." Despite his age and his size, Qasim was willing to sacrifice everything for his Imam and his uncle. On the day of Ashura itself, Qasim saw his cousins and his family members go out one by one, and so he also came to Imam Hussain alayhi salam and asked for permission if he could also go to the battlefield and serve his religion. However, Imam Hussain alayhi salam would not give him permission straight away. Why? Because Qasim was like a son to Imam Hussain. Imam Hussain had brought him up, he had seen him grow up, and so it was really hard and a tough moment for Imam Hussain to let him go. He could not bear to see anything happen to Qasim. However, eventually Qasim was given permission, and so Imam Hussain alayhi salam with his own hands tied the imama on the head of Qasim, and he dressed him with the battle armor. Then he called his sister Lady Zainab, peace be upon her, and they both looked at Qasim and they were smiling, they were happy because he resembled Imam Hassan so much. But then they began to cry because they also remembered the tragedy that Imam Hassan alayhi salam went through. Then came the time for the final farewell, and we cannot bear to imagine what Imam Hussain would have been going through at this moment. He hugged his young nephew Qasim, and they both began crying and crying and crying so much that they both fell unconscious. And so when Qasim finally went for the battlefield, narrations state that he looked like a full moon. There was so much nur and beauty on his face, and despite his size and his age, he fought valiantly and bravely, until the time came when he was surrounded by his enemies. And so he gave a call out to his uncle, "Oh my uncle, oh my uncle, come to my aid, come and help me." When Imam Hussain heard the cries of Qasim, narrations mention Imam Hussain travelled like an eagle travels after its prey. He travelled so quickly in the direction of Qasim's cry. However, seeing this, the Banu Umayyah, their horsemen, began to scatter, and Qasim was caught up in this. He was fatally martyred in the end. What can we possibly say for what Imam Hussain went through during this tough time? Wa Qasima, wa Qasima, wa Qasima. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Wa saya'lamu allazina zalamu ayyu munqalibin yanqalibun. And as we remember the tragedy and the character of Qasim alayhi salam, it really puts it into perspective of how we can also serve the Imam of our time. Like Imam Hussain, the message of Imam Mahdi to stand for the truth, peace equity, equality, and for justice. And like how Qasim sacrificed everything for his Imam, we too should be looking at how we can develop ourselves and serve the Imam of our time and his peaceful message, be it through our wealth, our knowledge, our education, or by spiritually developing ourselves, by tackling our own virtues and vices. And as we finish off, no doubt, the message of Imam Hussain has had a strong effect upon all people, be they Muslim or non-Muslim. For example, seeing Imam Hussein's patience on the day of Ashura and what he went through, it's something that words cannot describe. We see in the past the patience of the awliya and the saints and the holy people like Prophet Adam. And we saw also the patience of Nuh with his people and Ibrahim with his people, as well as Ibrahim when he was tested by the means of his son Ismail. And we saw the patience of Prophet Musa and Prophet Isa. However, this patience is all on one side, and the patience of Imam Hussain alayhi salam is on another scale. Perhaps this is why the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him and his family, has said, Hussainu innal Hussainu misbahul huda wa safinatul najat. Verily, Hussain is the lamp of guidance and the ark of salvation. No doubt, anyone who comes to Imam Hussain with an open and sincere heart will be guided to salvation. With this, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to raise us with Hussain in this world and in the hereafter. Assalamu ala Hussain, wa ala Ali ibn Hussain, wa ala awlad al-Hussain, wa ala ashab al-Hussain.